Hey guys, welcome to the month of June 2023. We are going to talk about the astrology, what is going on an energetic level, and what that might be indicating in the context of what is playing out for us generally throughout this month of June. We're going to look at the energy that we have coming through this month, week by week, sort of break down on a week by week basis the aspects, the transits that are happening. Then we're going to kind of put it all together and summarize what we might be looking at in terms of a greater energetic picture that is unfolding this month. But I will say there are likely to be some true highs this cycle, but we need to beware, okay, that we are not being deceived in some type of way. There really is some truly divinely inspired and blessed energy coming through. We have our new moon in Gemini happening this month of June, and it is happening in an exact opposition to the galactic center. This is some divinely inspired creative force energy that is coming through to really help some things grow and help some things move and help some things come into manifestation and creation. But we also have a big Sun-Neptune square that is happening essentially simultaneously that is also coloring a large portion of our energetic blueprint as it is unfolding this month. This is going to create a need for us to be very careful that we are not being deceived in some type of a way, that we are not being too idealistic about something, that we are not sort of living in some type of a fantasy. It's going to be very important for us to stay grounded throughout the course of this month. But I do believe that there are, like I said, this is a blessed energy that is inspiring true growth. And there's also vibes coming through this month as well, which are really in a lot of ways helping us to redefine a lot of the nature of our reality in a lot of ways, and also to sort of reinforce the redefinition of this transformation that is kind of going on in regards to our perception of our own personal paradigm and reality itself. Lots of huge fundamental changes happening on some very deep and internalized levels. So all of that being said, you guys, let's start with week one. Let's talk about the energy that is coming through to open our month of June, and then we will proceed week by week and sort of talk about what each one of these weeks might be looking like for us. So first of all, week one, if you guys have been following along with my channel, you know we do this on a daily basis. And of course, as we are going through these weeks in real time, as time unfolds and these days are actually upon us, I will be here talking about these very aspects that we are sort of preempting right now. So don't be dismayed if you feel like you haven't gotten enough information about these specific transits that I'm talking about, because we'll be going into them in much more detail as they are unfolding in real time. This is just sort of a basic overview of what is to come, and then we will extrapolate on that and really flesh out these themes and these aspects and these energies as they're happening. But anyways, as I was saying, if you've been following along with my channel, then you know that closing out our month of May, we are in some really huge energy with Jupiter currently in the sign of Taurus in an exact conjunction to the North Node at the Chiron point. And we've had this really intense fixed T-square and grand cross really of energy going on with Pluto and the nodes of the moon, and Jupiter and Mars was involved in this too. May was a very intense month that was really trying to usher us into some massive breakthroughs and transformations that I do feel are really starting to gain movement and momentum in a positive way moving into this month of June. This first week of June, I do think we're kind of setting up for a week of unexpected growth, momentum, forward movement in a positive direction. We do start the month of June with Jupiter and the North Node still in exact conjunction, where they will remain through the 3rd of June, okay? They will move out of exact conjunction the day before the full moon in Sagittarius, which is also taking place the first week of the month of June. And Sagittarius is the sign that is ruled by Jupiter. And so that full moon in Sagittarius will be really huge, really powerful, very destined stuff going on right now, okay? Endings and beginnings, fated, huge, divine alignments, divine timing. This first week, it's just all over the energetic blueprint because we're talking about a full moon in Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter, who is in a conjunction to the North Node, which is the destiny point. That when the full moon itself happens, Jupiter will have just moved out of a 5-day exact conjunction. 5 is a number of dynamic change, perhaps some dynamic change that's been going on, that's been realigning things in this more fated, destined way to help what? Jupiter in the sign of Taurus restore true value, true potential, so that organic growth can happen along the lines of like the ultimate success. We're talking about Jupiter. And this is a very fortunate, Jupiter is the great benefic. Jupiter brings blessings. Jupiter brings luck. Jupiter and the North Node together. This is positive and expansive growth in alignment with something that is necessary to return a sense of true value, true worth, true wealth, true I already said true value, but just true purpose, also true potential. So these are the Taurus themes are also likely to be quite strong this first week of the month of June as well, because the Jupiter North Node conjunction is happening in the sign of Taurus. So resources, supplies, assets, material possessions, projects, partnerships, some type of an expanded new beginning and growth happening for all of us this first week in some area of our lives. If you're, wondering where this might be affecting you, it's kind of important to know which house you have Taurus in your birth chart, because that is the area of life where this expanded new beginning is trying to come into fruition right now, which is going to carry through the next 7-8 years or so until the next Jupiter North Node alignment happens. So this first week, we are dealing with the North Node Jupiter conjunction. There could also be major themes about wounding and healing, overcoming, coming into a greater state of self-mastery, or graduating from some type of victim complex as well, that are going on this first week because of the Chiron point placement of the Jupiter North Node conjunction. And then, like I said, this full moon in Sagittarius that's coming in, this is ruled by Jupiter at the North Node. So some type of an expanded, Jupiter is also truth, it's also wisdom, it's also freedom, and it's expansion. So some type of an expanded awareness. This could also really be secrets revealed energy, some type of something being revealed to us, or us being illuminated to something in some type of way. This month of June is likely to be a very revealing, illuminating, awakening month that helps us sort of if we've been sort of kind of teetering back and forth between really wanting to make some big changes but not knowing if it was the right choice, or if it was truly in our best interest, or if we could really actually do it and make it happen. The things that happen throughout the course of the month of June are going to push us in that direction, are going to push us off that cliff, are going to inspire us or give us some type of an awakening or enhanced level of awareness, or something that helps us to make a choice to move forward in a new direction once and for all. So aside from, this big Jupiter North Node conjunction that we have coming in this first week, another thing I'll say, and I'm going to talk a lot more about this as this energy, as we get into this energy, and I already just did a video actually all about, my last video was about Jupiter in the conjunction to the North Node. This is a historic, sort of a historic configuration, planetary alignment that we have going on right now, because the last time that Jupiter and the North Node were conjunct in the sign of Taurus was May of 1929, which was 5 months before the big financial crash that kind of set everything off back then in the 1920s, okay? And that energy is sort of coming back around now, although I don't feel like it's going to hit exactly in the same type of a way, but we are, just to be aware, we are in times right now that historically have indicated, and with Uranus in the sign of Taurus as well, Jupiter preparing to move into a conjunction with Uranus and Taurus, the energy is indicating some type of major dynamic, unexpected shift, change, transformation in regards to long-standing financial systems and stuff like that. So just, not to have fear about it or anything, but just to be aware, this is, and I said this in my video for yesterday, this is not, I don't feel a really good period of time. There could be some financial booms, or some abundance coming through on a material or financial based level as a result of the Jupiter North Node in Taurus conjunction. But I think that, if we do have that experience, it's in our best interest to be very wise with how we spend our money at this point in time. And we don't necessarily want it to go out, as quickly as it is coming in, because there is a very large potential for financial uncertainty on a greater like global, economic world scale, all of that, moving forward through the rest of this year. So, if there are some very positive financial situations that are happening for us now, with Jupiter also being the planet of wisdom, the planet of truth and value, like using our assets, using our resources in a way that is really, or what we're investing in that is really like contributing to the growth of like true value in some type of a way, instead of just sort of like splurging on like things that we don't really need, or like indulging in excessive material comforts and pleasures and stuff like that. We want to be very smart, okay, about the way that we are dealing with our finances, with our assets, with our resources, heading specifically, through the rest of 2023, but also as Jupiter leaves the sign of Taurus and enters Gemini next year. So just something, perhaps to keep in mind in the context of this big aspect that is coming through this first week of the month of June. Now, that's not all, you guys. We also have some majorly shifting vibes going on the first week. Venus leaves Cancer and enters the sign of Leo. This is going to be really like turning up the heat a little bit. We're in like a summer of love, you guys, is coming. Venus is going to have an extended transit of the sign of Leo. Mars is in Leo right now as well. Romance, fun, pleasure, like sports, games, like just having a good time, celebrating life. Like this is where people are going to be more geared. Everybody's going to want to have a good time. This is a hugely tremendous and passionate creative force energy. Things to do with children and the inner child, and really valuing like an ability for like personal creative self-expression to shine through and stuff like that. Really, really coloring a lot of what's going on in the month of June. It should actually be like some good times, some fun times going on, but this can also be a very like ego based energy, and we're gonna want to just keep an eye on not coming too much from a state of ego impulses when we have both Venus and Mars coming into conjunction in the sign of Leo. And so Venus, yes, moving into Leo this first week of the month of June. And what happened when Mars moved into the sign of Leo, you guys? Set up a grand cross and fixed signs with the nodes of the moon, Pluto, and Jupiter, while Venus now trailing Mars doing the same thing. So everything that we just sort of went through with the Mars energy as he moved through the beginning of Leo and set up that Grand Cross, now Venus is going to be doing that. So we are also looking at moving into, closing out the first week of June, moving into the second week of Venus-Pluto opposition and square to the nodes with Jupiter right there as well. And, also because of what's going on in Taurus right now, Venus rules Taurus, Venus rules the position of the North Node, Pluto rules Scorpio, Pluto rules the position of the South Node. This is really going to put an emphasis on and shine a light on, okay, I think the power of recognizing like true value and being able to wield value as a form of power in order to like sway outcomes of situations and stuff like that and get desires met, okay? So overall, this first week of the month of June, I'm looking at and I'm thinking this is going to come through as a week of unexpected growth, momentum, and forward movement, as I said, in this positive direction, massive revelations, awakenings, shifts in awareness coming through as well. Also, the first week, I should say, in alignment with the full moon, we also have a Mercury-Uranus conjunction. So aside from the fact that we have this full moon in the sign of Sagittarius, all about revealing the truth in this like fated or destined way at this period of time, Mercury is also going to be in conjunction to Uranus. So this is also some type of mental awakening or flash of insight that hits us, epiphany, something coming out of nowhere that really like changes our mind about something, opens our eyes to something, and helps us to make a choice or a decision, again, about something that maybe we'd been kind of feeling restricted or stuck about. This is definitely like forward movement energy. Huge financial, material value, and value-based themes coming through as well, value or values, okay? Zero tolerance for abuse, deceit, corruption. Another aspect of this energy. And like I said, people taking back power, and it's going to come, I do think, through value. And it's interesting if you've in any way been sort of following what's going on with all of these boycotts that have been happening lately that have actually been having like a pretty big effect on whatever the companies are doing. value has all the power in this Taurus energy with Jupiter there. What we value, like people's values on things, like what they will and they won't stand for, what they do and they don't think are acceptable according to their moral code. And at this point in time, feeling empowered with the truth to like assert themselves and act on it. That's what we're looking at. And I find it to be like very ironic that there are all these actually seemingly like effective boycotts that are playing out right now against certain companies, and the root and the stem of what is driving those is people's personal values. And so they're using their personal values and translating that into financial value, and then using that as a means of like power and control in order to, shape what is going on this greater level. So it's very, very interesting because that is exactly the type of thing that I would expect to see with this Jupiter North Node, energy that is calling for this expanded recognition of like true value and what can be done with it, the potential that is held with that, and with the Pluto dynamic as well. And especially also, like, I feel like this is going to continue to grow. This is going to continue to get more powerful as people realize the power of that, and more people are simultaneously going through this process of like rediscovering their own personal values. So it's like both of these things kind of like happening simultaneously at once, and it is having the impact of people wielding power through where they're spending their money based on their personal values. And I just think that that is so interesting and so funny that would be the collective manifestation of things, how they're sort of playing out right now, because that is exactly what this energy would indicate and would continue to indicate gaining momentum and gaining even more of like a collective snowball effect. Expect the unexpected also this first week for sure, with the Mercury-Uranus alignment coming into effect, and be open to opportunities, growth, change. Again, there are these fated, destined alignments that are coming into play this first week of, for sure, the month of June with the Jupiter North Node alignment. So we want to be open, we want to be receptive, we want to be going with the flow, but, expect plans to change, expect people maybe to be, saying things that are a little bit weird, unexpected information, conversations. Things could be a bit mind-blowing for sure, especially also with the full moon going on, maybe some truth bombs that are really just like blowing your mind, or some type, again, of awakening to something significant, with both Venus and Mars also in the sign of Leo as of this first week, protecting and defending children, childhood, joy, fun, creativity, sports, okay? And our loyalties will be a major energetic focus. People just really wanting to like have fun and have a good time with the people that they love, creative self-expression, people in more of a celebratory mood, just sort of wanting to celebrate life. That's the vibe with Venus and Mars both transiting Leo for the summer. So that, I think, will be a very nice, positive, creative energy. And again, an emphasis on romance, an emphasis on like pleasure and having fun, and just like being able to like really shine and stuff like that. But nothing that goes against the values and the loyalties of the people is going to prosper in this energy. People are going to start using their money to make a statement about things that are in alignment with their values and what they do and don't want in that regards. And that is going to have a very powerful impact on a lot of things. Because of, the Pluto fixed nature of this square, this T-square that's been going on and that's going to continue to go on, and now with Venus coming in there as well. And this is kind of like, I feel like phase one sort of Pluto's 20-year transit of the sign of Aquarius, which is all about empowering the collective of humanity. This, I feel like, is sort of like a light bulb moment that is going off in the collective, and, subtle ways where we're realizing like, oh wow, I actually do have more of an ability to control the outcome of my material world and what is presented to me and the options that I have than I thought I did by, what I value and what I put my value in. So very interesting. We're realizing how powerful our money is in determining what is and is not manifested and produced in the world around us, which also plays into this sort of redefining reality theme that I feel like is coming through this month as well. So we start this month of June with more people getting deeper in touch with their own true values, their own true desires, making changes in terms of what will benefit their ability to truly grow and to like truly feel alive as well, with Venus and Mars both in the sign of Leo, and what they will and will not invest and spend their money on or put their love into going forward as well. So detachment from anything that we are realizing is in any way toxic or in any way counterproductive, okay, to our growth, to our joy, to our happiness. Breaking chains that have kept us stuck in repeating cycles and patterns as well, that have in any way limited or prohibited our growth or kept us from recognizing like the truth of this value or aligning with it in some type of way. This first week I feel like is also putting a major emphasis on the completion of this karmic detox process, which has been underway for the past year and a half as the nodes have been transiting Taurus and Scorpio. So this is to me like the double reversed card in the tarot, and I feel like it's a very powerful week, but we're sort of breaking ourselves free through a simultaneous recognition of like where we need to be, what we really want, and what we're no longer willing to accept, and how powerful we actually are in like redefining our circumstances based on what we will and will not accept. Okay, so now let's talk about week 2. Week 2 is continuing on in this theme, but even more so putting a greater emphasis on redefining ourselves and also sort of reinforcing this like redefinition that we are arriving at and that we are coming to right now. Shifting vibes. There's a lot of shifting vibes that are happening this second week of the month of June. In terms of the aspects playing out, we will have Venus an exact square to the nodes of the moon. Of course, she is ruling the position of the North Node right now, so this is significant. Mercury will enter Gemini. Pluto will retrograde back into Capricorn the second week of June, and we will also have a Venus-Jupiter square going on. Temptations could be kind of poking their heads up this second week, or we may feel like the urge to sort of chase a desire to like really go after something. There is also a highlight on love, money, romance, projects, creations. Taurus energy still really, really running strong, and we are likely to be feeling more like mentally invigorated, mentally stimulated, having a greater desire to like kind of be more communicative, interactive, be out and about. We're likely to feel more social now that we have Mercury entering the sign of Gemini, and we want to be careful. Like I was saying, you know, we want to be careful with overspending. We want to be careful with overeating. We want to be careful with overcommitting. We want to be careful with overindulging, even like over speaking, okay, like saying too much. We just kind of want to just self-regulate in the best ways that we can, while simultaneously allowing ourselves to, you know, enjoy things that are going on, because we do have really good vibes happening this second week. We have Venus, Jupiter in the sign of Leo and her sign of Taurus. Like this is some very positive energy, and there's likely to be some good things going on. And with Mercury and Gemini, like this is a very jovial, social, lighthearted energy. And again, Venus in square to the nodes. This is these fated interactions, divine timing, divine alignments coming into fruition. But Pluto is retrograding back into Capricorn. We want to make sure that we're not being like seduced or tempted back into like past ways of being in the past that we're actually in the process of transitioning out of right now. You know, that could be sort of like a little test that we're kind of up against in the energy the second week, and we just want to be careful about going over the top with things, you know, being too excessive, giving into, like I said, like these temptations and stuff like this, if we know on a higher level that that is not truly good for us, or that is actually like part of the problem or working against our growth at this point in time. Romance and passion, though, likely to be very, very strong themes. Creative passion, all types of passion going on this second week, as we have both Venus and Mars in the sign of Leo. And this is going to continue, like I said, throughout the month, through a good portion of the summer. We're going to have this very passionate, inspired, fiery, creative force energy with Venus and Mars, romantic energy, fun-loving energy, celebratory energy with Venus and Mars in the sign of Leo. But like generally, I feel like the second week of the month of June has a lot to do with like us sort of being in this process of transforming our own internal values, preferences, and desires that we are redefining now and recognizing now, and also coming to understand how powerful they actually make us if we choose to make different choices in alignment with these authentic true value and potential and worth or whatever that this energy is showing to us. Okay, let's talk about the third week now, you guys. This is a huge week as well. This is the week that is hosting our new moon in the sign of Gemini, and this is a very, it's almost like a magical moon. It's happening in exact opposition to the galactic center, in a T-square with Neptune, who's also in a square to the galactic center. Extremely blessed opportunity to bring some very supported manifestations, okay, into creation that are just built on a foundation of like wisdom and truth and like stardust, okay, like cosmic creative potential. However, the square to Neptune, you guys, like, we need to be very grounded in this energy. We need to be skeptical of kind of everyone and everything, including our own thoughts. We don't want to get caught in the land of over-idealizing things. We don't want to get caught in a deception. We don't want to get caught in an illusion. But that is not to say that there is not a lot of really magical, again, like divinely inspired creative energy that is coming through. We just need to be careful that we are not being deceived in some type of a way because of this Neptune square that is also present. Now, this week 3, you know, that new moon with the square to Neptune, that is not happening in isolation. And really all week, the sun is in square to Neptune, Gemini to Pisces. So, you know, Gemini and Pisces, like these squares, especially with Neptune there and the sun, like the information, how we're understanding things could be a bit off. Okay, we're not totally seeing things clearly in this energy. Like something is a little bit off, something is not quite right. We're not seeing something exactly as it is, and we just need to keep that in mind in the context of whatever we are engaging in, whatever we're creating, whatever actions we are taking this third week, okay? We also have Saturn stationing retrograde in the sky the third week. We also have Jupiter forming an exact sextile to Saturn in his retrograde station in the sky this third week. This is a very productive, beneficial aspect for actually laying foundations, building things, having a good relationship with like authority and like the rules and stuff, like getting things accomplished. We've also got Mars the third week of the month of June coming into an exact conjunction with the black moon. Mars and the black moon, that's like the brother and the sister of the battlefield, okay? This, I think, is actually in some ways, it's going to have a very polarized way. There's going to be two distinct expressions of this energy, and it's going to be characterizing also a lot of this third week of the month of June. On one hand, this is people conquering their fears, okay? Fighting back against their fears with this like spiritual warrior energy of like the light, right? And like once and for all, like overcoming the darkness with the power of the light and conquering fears that have held them back subconsciously in some type of a way. On the other hand, this could be people really acting out very aggressively as a result of any type of ego wound that is being triggered and projecting that in some really dark ways, okay? So this is like an energy that is going to have people either like conquering their fears in like these very heroic ways, okay? Or succumbing to their own darkness and projecting it outward in some very aggressive and like, you know, battle Mars, Lord of the battlefield, very aggressive, hostile, not the greatest type of ways. So that is another energy. Passions running very, very high this third week of June. And we've also got the sun entering the sign of Cancer the third week of June. We've got our summer solstice energy that we're going to need to take a look at. So much going on as the third week is unfolding. And I do think this will be a week in a period of time where our fears aren't holding us back. This is a very good week, especially with it being the new moon as well, to make plans, take action, follow your heart, follow your passions. But again, just be skeptical, right? Just be kind of cautious. Don't just like immediately jump in with both feet to things without, really knowing the truth of the situation. We want to seek out the truth of things with the new moon coming in the opposition to the galactic center. So staying grounded, as I said, is really going to benefit us this third week because this is a Gemini new moon, sun and moon in Gemini. This is this air sign energy. This is this very like a high sort of anxious type of energy. It can just make us a bit like nervous, a bit ungrounded, and it is just going to benefit us if we can do our best to make sure that we're not getting carried away in this energy. Something needs to be corrected though, okay? Something needs, with Saturn retrograde the third week, there's a reconstruction effort that needs to be initiated somehow. Mercury will also be forming a square to Saturn this third week. I hadn't mentioned that. And then of course Saturn stations retrograde and then the new moon comes in. So there is a need to sort of redo, rework, reconfigure something that we had been working on or creating. This is also breaking boundaries down, which is leading into perhaps an inability to perceive, what is real and what isn't. That could be distorting our perception a bit, as we are moving through this new moon and with the square to Neptune. So, with Saturn retrograde and the square to Mercury and also the sun and square to Neptune, the new moon and square to Neptune, there could just be a bit of a blurry line between fantasy and reality. So staying grounded, again, really helping us this week, and understanding that there is most likely going to be something that we need to like make a shift, make an adjustment with over this next couple months in regards to foundations that we're laying now, plans that we're making, and kind of like what we're trying to form and structure in regards to our reality right now. Like I said, sort of redefining our reality. I feel like the Saturn retrograde has a lot to do with that as this month is unfolding. But the new moon in the opposition to the galactic center, cosmically creative force feeding the developments this cycle. This is extremely blessed energy. It's highly, highly energized. Energy is likely to be quite high, even though we have a square to Neptune going on, just because the galactic center, this is the life force pulse that sort of feeds the synapses, okay, like the neurological activity that creates like all of the life force that manifests around us, stems essentially from the galactic center. So with this happening like that, in opposition like that, it's really like sparking this creative force energy that is going to be sort of compelling people to do things and to act. Universe is definitely like acting itself out through the ongoings of man over the course of this new moon cycle that we have coming in. Either also, there could be illusions breaking down. I will say that as well. With the square between the new moon and Neptune and the galactic center is wisdom and truth, the utmost, okay? In Neptune, this is deception, this is illusion, this is confusion, this is hypnosis, this is disorientation. So, this square that's going on between the sun and the moon in Gemini, this is ideas and information and how we're processing information. Opposed to the galactic center, some type of massive truth could come through this cycle that hits us on a very mentalized level as well, that breaks down or creates some type of conflict that arises as a result of some type of an illusion or some type of fantasy or some type of projection or some type of narrative, okay, that's been running somehow that we come to find out is not truly in alignment with what is real. And that itself could be sort of, leading to a disorientation in terms of like what is real and what is actually not. At this point in time, there could definitely be some reality breakdowns going on us in the midst of the like reality reconfigurations and redefining reality. like I've been saying, this whole 2023 year, I feel like is all about sort of cascading endings and beginnings kind of happening simultaneously. Breakdowns on one hand, illusions breaking down, but on the other hand, conflict that could be arising as a result of us not seeing something clearly. Even though there are these really, there is this very, very blessed and positive energy that is going on. This really is a very, very beautiful new moon. It's just some element perhaps of deception or of deceit or of illusion or fantasy, projection, hypnosis, or avoidance, even coloring our ideas, our judgments, our interactions, our decision making perhaps at this point in time. We want to be very skeptical of everything this week. We want to seek truth. We want to seek the higher perspective. We don't want to allow ourselves to be sort of persuaded or sold on something necessarily. But, you know, we do want to align with this inner knowing of what it is that we really need to build or to create the spark of inspiration that may be coming through. There could be some type of spark of inspiration coming through this week that is really just like turning this light bulb on in terms of like what we want to do or what we need to do or what we're feeling inspired to do or to build or create. So we just want to be aware of the illusions. We want to do our best to stay out of the ego and like the lower impulses. Be even skeptical, like I said, of our own ideas and of our own understanding of things. Like we're just something about the informational field is experiencing a level of distortion the third week. So it's just, you know, that's just what is out there. But we are being, you know, very much called simultaneously to create in whatever way that we feel inspired this third week. So, you know, universe is, like I said, pouring itself out of humanity this cycle, really like the expression of humans and what they are doing and what they are building and what they are birthing and what they're creating right now is really very important and holds a greater level of significance, I think, than like it generally does, just because of the way that these alignments are coming together. And with Saturn also and Jupiter in the sextile in Pisces and Taurus, okay, this and even with Saturn retrograde the third week, this is another indication of blessed, long-lasting, successful creations and foundations. Not only is the new moon cycle itself and what we're growing and manifesting and bringing to fruition throughout the course of the Gemini cycle really blessed with this like divinely inspired energy, but with Saturn and Pisces, this is divinely inspired forms and structures and foundations in the sextile to Jupiter and Taurus that are physically, tangibly, materially like successful and stable and in alignment with authentic truth and authentic value. There is something of true value that is coming into fruition, that is coming to formation and foundation. We, again, just, you know, want to be a bit skeptical and just make sure we're staying grounded as we go throughout the course of this energy, not get caught in any illusions, not get carried away, okay? And again, with Saturn retrograde, staying grounded is also, you know, an important thing that we are consciously aware of right now. Now let's talk about week 4. Week 4 could be a very emotional week. We've got lots of water energy going on week 4. We've got lots of Venus energy going on week 4. Black moon energy going on week 4. It could just be a very emotional and simultaneously a very emotionally charged week. We start the week with the sun in a trine to the south node. We also have the sun in trine to Saturn, all in water signs. This 4th week, we have this grand trine in water. It's not exact, but it's close enough between South Node, Sun, and Saturn. In water signs, we have Mercury entering Cancer, the mind moving into this emotional water energy as well. And we have Mars, Venus, and the Black Moon all in a conjunction in Leo. And we also have the moon in Leo, transiting Leo the 4th week of the month of June, activating the Black Moon energy. And these are, you know, these very deep emotions and stuff that could be coming up as well. And we're also going to be having Mars coming into a square with Uranus the 4th week, and this is representing perhaps some type of dynamic change. There is a very powerful drive, okay, to do something, to make something happen, to break through in some way, to do something different, to free ourselves from something. to stand up for ourselves, like to, again, or to like conquer a fear, to overcome something that could be coming through this fourth week. And it's likely to be, again, like facilitated or motivated or driven by some type of deep, powerful emotion that is hitting us. And this could also have to do with detaching us from a past way of being and like moving us forward in a radical new direction somehow. The fourth week, we are again, these themes of redefining our reality are really coming back up. The grand water trine, of course, with the sun and the trine to the south node, what we're detaching ourselves from, karmic patterns of the past, also the trine to Saturn retrograde, karmic patterns of the past, what we are maturing and evolving out of. Grand water trine, emotions coming through, and Mercury will also be joining this grand water trine. The moon will also be joining this grand water trine the fourth week of the month of June. So we're going to have Mercury, Saturn, Sun, South Node, Moon, all wrapped up in this emotional energy that is calling for a release of like karmic burdens and karmic patterns that have kept us detached from aligning with a higher version of ourselves and cultivating our true potential and activating our destiny. All of these things that universe with the North Node in Taurus, Jupiter there is calling us towards right now, recognizing true value, right? So people could definitely be taking some shocking or surprising actions, okay, in sort of pursuit of this. And as a result of this kind of ending energy, karmic, breaking through karmic cycles energy this fourth week of June, people behaving in some very unexpected ways with Mars coming into the square with Uranus. And this could be creating some type of drama, some type of conflict, some type of like show or display as well, with Mars being in the sign of Leo right now. People, very emotional though, strong emotional energy, feeling compelled by almost like this inner urge, right, to do what we know is actually best for ourselves on a soul level, even if it is difficult, even if it is scary. This is, again, that energy coming through that is helping us to really maybe conquer some fears on some very deep levels that have been holding us back for long periods of time. This is sort of like F it energy in a lot of ways. Like, I'm going to do what I have to do, and, I'm going to deal with the consequences, but I'm going to do it, because if I don't do it, then, I'm betraying myself, essentially. Like, this is like radical loyalty to our own heart energy, like to our own soul, and to, what we know we need to do to continue to grow, okay? To continue to feel alive, to feel like ourselves, and to be ourselves, and to step, again, into our authentic truth, into our authentic potential, and like kind of like take our life back. We're not really willing to sacrifice any dimension of ourselves anymore in order to like appease an external force. So we may really see people taking some type of dynamic or radical actions this fourth week of the month of June, to make spontaneous changes, to distance themselves from like who they used to be and what they used to be defined by. So that's kind of how I'm seeing this energy coming together. There could also just be like, we could be doing things that we don't usually do. There could be some personal risks that we feel like we're taking in order to like experience something better maybe for ourselves. Again, conquering fears, I feel like, is a vibe that is coming through the fourth week. So very emotional energy this entire month. Like I said, I feel like there are true highs coming through. There's this blessed energy. This is divinely inspired energy, divinely aligned energy. This is like, we are in moments of time that are truly fated and have to happen a certain way in order such that the entire cosmic blueprint can unfold in accordance with, the appropriate organic pattern of growth and expansion that universe is calling for right now. We've got to be very open to the shifts and the changes that are happening right now, because they are of that more highly ordained nature and order. And like I said, there are likely to be some very high highs coming through, and very good things, positive growth, unexpected improvements happening this as this month of June unfolds, and throughout this Gemini new moon cycle especially. But we want to be careful, you guys. The square to Neptune, this is classic deception, okay? Classic, like, disorientation or distortion of the way that we're thinking about things. We want to be careful about, not falling into some type of an illusion, not deceiving ourselves, also not over idealizing things. But we also need to accept that Some very significant truths are also likely to come to us this cycle that disrupt our perception of reality and cause us to really go through an awakening somehow that initiates, again, the redefinition of our reality in the context of what it is that we are awakening to now. So big month, you guys. Is interesting things. I expect it to be a very interesting month. Uranus is very active this month, and of course, you know, we've got all these big time transits unfolding. So I'm going to grab us that's what I'm going to say about our month of June. And, you know, if you want to follow with me on the day by day basis, I would love to have you here. And I love you guys who come and tune in with me when I do these videos, and we just can really get into this in some more detail. So going to be doing that as well. Let's get a synchronicity card now. See if there's some advice, guidance that we can use. A blessing in disguise. It's the card that just flipped over on top of the deck. So this is that Uranus energy again. Also, you know, Jupiter bringing blessings in alignment with the North Node right now, but with that Uranus flavor. A lot of the changes that are happening now, blessings are coming, but they may be coming through unexpected or unusual packages, okay? A blessing in disguise. And the Lord sent thunder and rain that day, 1 Samuel 12:18. Thunder and lightning can be frightening and give us a scare, but it is followed by a blessed rain. You are divinely guided and blessings follow. Like I said, you guys, this is a very blessed month. This is a very blessed cycle. We just need to be on our P's and Q's, and we need to just not believe everything that we see or everything that we hear, and just, again, practice a degree of skepticism. Healthy skepticism is our friend this cycle. So that's what I'm going to say, you guys, for the month of June. I hope you liked it. I hope this was informative for you. If you guys did like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would benefit from this type of content or be interested as well. Leave me comments, you guys. Let me know what you think. I love it when you guys share your experiences with me. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. I have a Facebook page, Facebook group, Instagram, other social media stuff in my description box below. If you want to know everything that it says on this whiteboard over here, I've been posting pictures of the whiteboard in my Facebook group. So if you want to see all of that information, that's where you can find that, and come back with me, you guys, for my next video. We have a busy week of astrology, and we have a full moon in Sagittarius coming up to talk about as well. I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you next time, guys. Have a beautiful day, and until then, bye.